Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda. If you're new, I make a ton of fashion and lifestyle videos. I asked you guys over on my Instagram on a recent picture how many of you were in a long distance relationship. I had never asked that question before, and I was so surprised that so many of you are in long distance relationships as well. Some are in different cities, so they're a few hours apart. Some of you are in different states, and a lot of you are even in different countries with different time zones. Your long distance relationship is hard for you, but your long distance could be somebody else's short distance. I am going to share with you guys some tips on how Muhammad and I make our long distance relationship work. Please keep in mind that these are tips that I've personally experienced, things that I have gone through, and I realized that those work now. They weren't things that I got in a long distance relationship and I was like, okay, yes, these are all the tips that I need to follow for a long distance relationship. No relationship is the same, so take these with a grain of salt. When I was thinking of tips for this video, I was reflecting back on my personal relationship, and I called Muhammad and we were kind of brainstorming together, and the first thing that we thought of was, don't let your relationship consume your life, let it complement your life. And I personally do this by picking up different hobbies and interests that don't involve my significant other. They're things that maybe he wouldn't enjoy but I personally enjoy. They keep my mind off of our relationship being hard, and they're things that when we do talk I can tell him about, but they don't necessarily involve him. I love trying out different workout classes around the Dallas area. I used ClassPass for months, and you can try different studios. You can do yoga, Pilates, cycling, everything that you want to do, and you don't have to have a membership at one specific place. And those are just things that I want to do by myself. I just want to step outside my comfort zone, and that can be my stress relief for the day. Keep in mind that your outlets that help you relieve stress are so healthy for your life right now, and you want your significant other to have the same for his life. And I feel like Muhammad and I having our own separate interests and hobbies have made our relationship so much stronger. And at the end of the day, or whenever we talk on the phone and we share what's going on in our life, it's just really interesting to know what the other person is doing and the things that make them happy. Tip number 2 for long distance relationships: communication is key for any relationships, but especially when it's all you have in a long distance one. It's so important. So personally, Muhammad and I try to minimize texting and emphasize FaceTimes. He was the one that came up with that tip, and I thought it was so clever. I was like, that is so clever, I'm gonna use that. We are not the type of people who like to text 24/7, all day every day, and I was so glad that he wasn't like that, because going into the relationship I was kind of scared that he would like to text all the time. I'm not like that. So if I had any advice, it would be to really know each other's general schedules and agree at some point during the day when you're gonna FaceTime. It might not be every single day, but agree on that, and then save you're talking for then. Have that be the time that you're gonna catch up with each other. He right now is studying for exams and the MCAT, and most of the time he can't talk on the phone unless it's right before he goes to sleep, and I go to sleep way earlier than he does. So just respecting his schedule, as hard as it is so important. And that brings me to tip number 3, is to respect your significant other's schedule. Hi.
Hello. I'm working on some practice problems. Can I call you when I'm done? I got 12 more.
Oh, yes.
Are you okay?
Mm-hmm. See what I mean? Just respect each other's schedule. I think one of the hardest things is if you are in 2 different places, you're most likely on 2 completely different schedules. So if you are have a break and you're ready to talk on the phone, your significant other might be super busy and in the middle of all this stuff and super stressed. So it's just really hard to be on 2 different schedules, but you really have to make sure you're respecting their time and respecting their schedule, and just keep in mind that they're doing what they're doing there and you're doing what you're doing here, so that eventually you can be together. I remember when I was working my 9-to-5 job and Muhammad was taking classes, we had a completely different schedule. I couldn't talk from 9 to 5, and he could pretty much text and call me between classes, but none of that existed anymore. I would talk to him right before I go to work, and then before I go to bed, and it was really hard on our relationship. But we just really tried to keep in mind this is temporary, and that's something we tell each other every day. We remind each other of that. Tip number 4, don't forget about the little things that you did at the beginning of the relationship or in the honeymoon phase. You know, you just go that extra mile in the beginning. You try to impress them. You might like just do certain little things that once you've been together for a while, you forgot that you did those things, or you're just so comfortable with each other that you don't think it's necessary. And I recently, a few months ago, I think we got in an argument about something, and I was thinking, you know, I used to send him Tiff's Treats cookies like all the time, and like, why don't I do that anymore? So I sent him Tiff's Treats, and like, sending chocolate chip cookies might seem so silly, but when you are like not with each other, you're in a long distance relationship, and you personally get a delivery of something from your significant other, it's like this reminder that, oh, they care, and they like went this extra mile to call and order and give the address and the phone number and like surprise me and all that stuff. It's just really special. So life gets busy, but try to remember to do those little things that you did at the beginning of the relationship that kind of like put in that little extra something to make them feel special. Tip number 5, Muhammad and I really try to plan the next time that we're gonna see each other, even if that is a month from now, 2 months from now, whenever that is. We try to plan for it so that we have something to look forward to, and when like we miss each other and times are hard between us, we at least know that 2 months from now we're going to see each other, and we have time to plan for it, and we can plan our events and our personal life around that. That way when we're together, we can make the most out of our time. The last tip, which I think is so important, which is also about communication, is to talk through your struggles, because what you are personally feeling, your significant other might be feeling as well, and you definitely don't want to be bottling up your feelings. If they are good or bad, you don't want to bottle them up and then like explode on them. I think that some people, including myself, have a habit of doing that. It could be something like, I'm really missing him, or something with my personal life is like a personal struggle is bothering me, and I don't talk to him about it because I don't want to burden him with it. Find the time to kind of talk through what's bothering you and what you're going through, and lean on that person and have them lean on you, and just talk through those things with your significant other. There are definitely positives and negatives to being in a long distance relationship, but I think it's really important to just make the most out of it, keep the end goal in mind, and just get through it if the person's worth it. I would love to know some of y'all's tips for making your personal long distance relationship work, so leave that in the comments down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!